Back at it, back in it. Read between the lines. Another episode, UFC 326 right now. I'm Bradley Gleason. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and betting aficionado, Cody Hooper is in the building. How you feeling, my brother?
I could not be any happier to be here. Thank God we got number cards back. It's been too long.
Well, I can't imagine you're that happy because I don't know if you know it, but last time I freaking swept the board 5-0. I am officially the 2026 leader of Read Between the Lines. Got my ass whooped last year. I'll be honest about it. Got my ass whooped. But for the first time ever, first of all, somebody went 5-0. I'd like to tip my hat on that. For the first time ever, I beat you on the betting lines in over a year of doing this podcast. So I'm feeling fucking great right now. I think I'm going to roll that right through this weekend. But I do have to bring one thing up. And it's actually a real issue that I got with you. And I'd like to take the folks back, get everybody into the business right now, because you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. There's a nice, beautiful young lady that we had on our side going into UFC 325 that's no longer with us.
She's alive, by the way. She is
I
alive.
don't believe it, and we'll talk about it. But I got a text message from you pre 325, and you said, I had to get a new housekeeper. This can't be good for betting, Juju. Maybe Marta is our GOAT, though. To which I replied, I've got a great feeling about Marta. Marta being the housekeeper that you had just hired.
True. This is true.
Throughout the entire night. I mean, my bets are hitting. Hey, by the way, I called Quillen Sow Kid by submission.
That was crazy.
That was Marta's doing. Marta was on fire on my side in every fight that went down the card continuously. I said, Marta, Marta, Marta. 5-0, 5-0 I go. And I'd like you to tell the folks, where's Marta now?
First off, congratulations on going 5-0. Absolutely stellar performance by you there. No, I'm not stalling. Marta's company is still the company that I hire to be my housekeeper to come once a week and, do some chores around the house, which I'm very, very grateful for. I'm very grateful for this
How
company.
did they feel when they found Marta wrapped up in a rug in your closet expected?
Marta,
Because you killed this
to,
lady.
to my knowledge, Marta is alive. However, I can't have that. I can't have a performance like that after a sudden change. We needed to make an additional change. Our GOAT is now Caroline Flores. Shout out the new housekeeper, Caroline Flores. We wish Marta nothing but the best. She
No,
did incredible work at the house.
nope. I don't accept Caroline as the new GOAT because I had a GOAT and her name was Marta. And about 3 fights into my streak, you said I might have to fire Marta. I thought you were joking. I thought you were just joshing around, having a good time, a little laugh off the top. And then pre this week, I get another message. Marta's officially gone. And I go, what the fuck?
Hey, there were some internal issues going on.
Yeah,
Let's not
she's
get
dead.
into.
You killed her.
She's
I
alive.
finally get ahead. I finally make my move. I've been getting crushed for a year. I got something good going for me, and you nip it on the bud right off the rip.
You can hire Marta. I don't know if she'll come out to Texas, but you can try.
Well, I'd like to say I'm performing in honor of Marta this weekend, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Caroline ain't got shit on me when Marta is the GOAT. And that brings us back. I had to get that off my chest right off the top because, God dang it, man. We had a good thing going. But that brings us back to UFC 326, and we're talking about a BMF title on the line. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. First question I have for you, just as always with BMF titles. Obviously, Max Holloway's been here. Do you feel like Charles Oliveira is deserving of being in this position? Not that he's not great, but like the title of BMF, do you see him as a BMF? Did you feel like this was a worthy opponent for the title of BMF?
I think this title makes sense. I believe Charles beat somebody when they were technically the BMF, and I know for a fact Max Holloway had the BMF title when he lost. I'm not sure how the BMF title kind of gets moved around here, or who's actually the BMF. I know Max Holloway has that belt. I do believe this is a BMF title fight. Charles Oliveira is terrible at holding on to the championship belt. I think this is a very, very, very good fight for the BMF. I'm very excited for this fight.
It is just like a fan favorite fight. That's exactly what it is. Like Max Holloway is so beloved. Charles Oliveira obviously is so beloved. It's one of those fights where you go, God, I don't want anybody to lose. And I'm interested to see how I think both guys are going to get big pops, but I'm interested to see if one guy kind of steals the show, at least from the press conference and or walkouts. If the crowd really gets behind one guy or the other, I think if anybody, it's going to be Charles Oliveira, just because of who he is and kind of he's had such an exciting run in the UFC, and he's really kind of captured my heart. I know. I can still remember when Charles Oliveira won the belt exactly where I was and exactly what I was doing. ISU at a bar. I don't even remember what bar it was, but I'm standing, I'm just on my phone, crowd around me, probably five, six guys just watching this title fight against Michael Chandler on my phone. And Charles wins. I get up on the chair. I'm fucking screaming. The place is going crazy. And next thing you know, I got a bouncer on my shit telling me to get down. I told him Charles Oliveira just won the belt. Back the fuck up, guy. But that's the emotion that comes out of me when it comes to Charles Oliveira. And I'll be frank, I picked against him against Ilia Topuria, obviously right, but that was like a thing that people weren't doing.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira is just he's so beloved. You just always want to see him win. I feel like Max Holloway is in a similar place, but where do you actually see this one going? We got Charles Oliveira plus 175, the underdog, against Max Holloway minus 230. Charles Oliveira coming off of a win over Mateusz Gamrot, Max Holloway a win over Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, definitely a significantly more impressive win for Max Blessed Holloway. Do you happen to know off the dome the year these two fought for the first time?
Shit, probably 2017, 2018, something like that, but I don't know.
2015.
Oh my
11 years
gosh.
ago, these two fought. Max Holloway taking the victory via KO TKO.
Via esophagus.
Via esophagus, indeed, indeed. This fight is awesome. In my mind the number three contender fight. I think this person is not next up, not in on deck for a title shot, but definitely in the hole for a title shot at 155. And I couldn't be more excited. Can't wait for Ilia Topuria to lose, and we never have to hear that name again. Um, however, a couple of quick things about this fight. Charles Oliveira no longer being Du Bronx, which we never really brought up on the show. El Predador. Um, I don't think sits well for him winning this fight against Max Blessed Holloway. I think if you're going to sell out and make your nickname something for money, I'm not crazy about it. I do think it's a little bit difficult to make money on this fight. I do have Charles Oliveira to lose to Max Holloway. Give me Max Holloway straight up money line. I couldn't pick an exact way this fight goes. It could be a knockout, it could be a submission. I don't know, but give me the Max Holloway. The best is fucking blessed.
Dude, you had me in the first half. You said Charles Oliveira, and I went, fuck yes. Because I did, in fact, take Charles Oliveira plus 175. I think some specials in the air for Charles Oliveira. You think about Max Holloway, he hasn't really faced a ton of grapplers. You go back through his history, I mean, the guys that he's won and lost to, hard pressed to find like a true grappler, especially at lightweight. You got a big guy like Charles Oliveira that's going to push the pace, get in your face. That's kind of the game that he plays, is he's going to walk you down. And of course, Justin Gaethje says the hardest he's ever been hit was by a guy named Charles Du Bronx Oliveira, or the Predator. I think that was just like for, you're right, sold out, but I don't think that's actually his nickname. I don't know if like officially Bruce Buffer's gonna say that. But he did indeed. You're right.
I looked it up and Facebook said, and Facebook's always right, that
That's a
he
good
didn't
point.
change it.
Yeah. Meta knows. Meta does in fact know. But I think, you think about the guys, Ilia Topuria didn't grapple with them. Alexander Volkanovski didn't grapple with them. Like the last grappler he faced was maybe Brian Ortega. That was before Brian Ortega had a fucking clue how to box. But if you go through his title run, or even the guys after the fact, Arnold Allen didn't, he hasn't faced a ton of guys like Charles Oliveira. So I think it's going to be interesting. Max notoriously hard to take down, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens if Charles gets him on the ground. Uh, and also, I got a feeling. It's one of those things where I just got a feeling. Charles Oliveira had a baby boy. He said he wants to bring a title to that baby boy. I believe him. Last time he had a kid, he went on an 11 fight win streak. That's the sort of vibes that I'm picking up and putting down on Charles Oliveira here. And I think when you said Ilya Taporia loses the belt, who do you think he's losing to? Mr. Justin Gaethje?
I mean, he might lose to the law, like he might go to jail, but I
What
mean,
the
yeah,
fuck? Where's this news coming from? What is Ilya Taporia under a suspicion of?
domestic violence.
Dude, what the fuck? Were you reading BuzzFeed News or something? TMZ? What happened here? That the court case was all BS, my friend.
Did the domestic violence officially get dismissed? Am I just way behind the times? Because that could be the
You are
case.
far,
Okay,
far behind the times,
that's
brother.
fine. All right. I mean,
I,
yeah, Justin Gaethje for sure. Yeah, he loses to Justin
I,
Gaethje knockout round one.
I do think no, I actually Justin Gaethje, regardless, I think there's a chance that Ilya Taporia is not sitting at the top of the helm when either of these guys get a title shot because I could see him chasing down like an Islam Makhachev to 170. And the way the UFC is operating right now, they just kind of make you vacate. But both of these guys were knocked out by Ilya Taporia. I'm sure both of them are hoping that he is gone because a fight before their last fight, Dustin Poirier and Mateusz Gamrot, they were both laying face down on the canvas. They're in a very similar position right now. This really is a very important fight for both these men in their career. Max Holloway, of course, trying to solidify himself in the lightweight division where he's got some great wins. Justin Gaethje being one of them, one of the most spectacular knockouts we've ever seen at the end of the fifth round. And then Dustin Poirier, obviously Charles, a mainstay here for a long time, had a great win, or sorry, lost Ilya Taporia, had a very competitive fight with Arman Tsarukyan. And I still feel like he can play at the top of this division, but I also do think Max Holloway is at the top of this division, and he doesn't really get into. Nobody talks about him in title contention ever.
Never.
If he beats Charles Oliveira, he's got a hate to say it, he's got a better resume than Arman Tsarukyan at 155. If you just look at their last three, if this comes to fruition, we're talking about Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira compared to Mateusz Gamrot, Beneil Dariush, and Charles Oliveira. Like Max Holloway is as legit as they come. A new life here at 155. Unfortunately, Duke Bronx has got to put him back right here and restart his run to the belt.
I don't see it. And you know how much fun it is to say the best is blessed.
It is pretty fun.
It's
You know
so
how
fun.
you know how fun it is to go, dude, bro.
Is that even his name? Isn't his name El Pretador?
Dude, I think you opened up a Reddit feed from 2018 and just started reading, and that's the info you're bringing into this fucking fight right now.
Yeah, somebody's got to bring incorrect perspective. If it's got to be me, I'll bite the bullet.
We talked about it a little bit on the front end. The BMF belt is weird because, first of all, I love that we're on opposite sides of this. This is really the Caroline versus Marta matchup right now. I just want to let you know. As much as it is Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira, this is Caroline versus Marta. And you know how that's been going. But we talked about the BMF belt a little bit at the top of this thing. It's weird right now. I think the BMF belt's too close to the title. And like, does the winner of this, do you think he defends the BMF belt again? Or is it just kind of one of those situations where it transfers hands into who knows where?
I think so. It has been too close to the title to where, like a winner of a BMF fight will get a title shot.
Yeah.
In a ton of cases. The last BMF fight I can think of offhand is Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. And then right after that fight, Max Holloway got a title shot.
True.
I mean, these two, neither of these two are getting a title shot next. I mean, they're not next in
Yeah,
line. They're not
Gaethje's
second
there.
in line. Yeah, Gaethje's there. Arman Sarukian's there. Neither of these two are getting a title shot. So I think you defend the BMF belt. Whoever wins this, that being Max Blessed Holloway. I will add stakes to this if you're interested.
I'd love it.
If Charles El Predador du Bronx Oliveira wins this
Okay.
fight, I will rehire Marta.
Fuck yes. I'll take that
And
all freaking day.
Marta will be back and your goat will be back. However, she's not getting rehired if Du Bronx does not win this fight.
Not happy. Those are happy stakes. And I want you to let them know as well.
I will. Oh, they will be informed.
Um, but like who, I was just thinking about it. I was looking at it, I was like, who could even fight for the BML? Imagine it's got to be 155. I know like BSD, Benoit Saint Denis called for the BMF belt. I think the other guy in play is maybe Dan Hooker. Um,
Dan Hooker sucks.
Dan Hooker, you're right. He doesn't deserve to fight one of these guys. He does deserve to fight for the BMF, if
Sure.
that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah. I
just
mean, Dan
style of
Hooker.
fight.
Yeah, Dan Hooker used to be a bad motherfucker, and I mean, he'll bleed for sure, and it'll be a badass fight.
But then Benoit Saint Denis, I feel like he hasn't been in the UFC long enough to like garner what a BMF traditionally is. If you look back at it, started with Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, then Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, then Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, now Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. It's kind of a legends belt, and it'd feel a little dirty for me if BSD fought for it, just because he hasn't really done enough to be a legend. Like he's still in the midst of his first title run. He got the fuck beat out of him by Hanato Moicano not too long ago. So I think it's one, too close to the title where you just kind of have to ignore it for a while. But two, I don't think there's a real opponent that makes sense next for these guys. It almost feels like you have to just wait. Because can you do a non-title fight that's not a BMF fight?
I don't know. I do want to plead the case a little bit for Benoit Saint Denis. He's not been in the UFC long enough. His fights definitely have all been fucking awesome, and he used to torture terrorists.
Yeah, that is pretty sick. You're right. I mean, you could definitely make the case for BSD. It just is like that's the first guy that's not like a traditional like legend of the game like you would. Like you ask a random guy on the street if he knows who Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira is.
Yes.
More times than not, you're gonna get a yes to that. If you ask him who
Hmm.
Benoit Saint Denis is, they're gonna go, who the fuck is that guy?
Some French motherfucker.
Yeah. Caio Borralho versus Rennier Day Ritter is our next fight on the card. And both of these guys, similar to Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira, they're in a very similar position. Both coming off of losses. Rainier Day Ritter, last time out, got certifiably freaking worked by one Brendan Allen of all people. And this guy was streaking. He said, we got some, I guess, clarification on the issue of that fight because he just looked bad. He looked bad.
Hmm.
Guy got stopped on the stool. Didn't
Yeah.
get finished. Stopped on the stool. He said he was dealing with severe anemia, which is basically a low red blood cell count that causes fatigue. So hopefully that's cleared up. But that was a bad freaking look the last time we saw him. How do you see this guy playing out with Caio Bahayo?
You mean anemia, right?
Yeah, what did I say?
I don't know, but I just wanted to make sure that's what we were talking about. Yes, correct. An iron deficiency, low, sorry, low red blood cells. Sorry, that fucked me up a little bit.
I read it
You're
off my
right.
screen and I got chicken scratch for handwriting and
No,
it
you're
just didn't
good. You're
flow.
good. I was just like, what the fuck? Yes. Okay, to touch on Rainier Day Ritter a little bit. That makes complete and total sense. Also, you just can't fight as many times in a year as Rainier Day Ritter did last year. I mean, he fought, what did he fight? 5 times last year?
I don't think it was that much, but
One, two, three, four times last year. It's just like not something people can do. I mean, even if you look at somebody like Kevin Holland has worse results when he fights that
or
often.
Marab.
Rob Dvalishvili, I was like, how do I pronounce Marab's last name? You just get results that aren't usually up to par. That being said, Kyle Borralho was a bad motherfucker. The fighting nerds cannot wrestle. So that's an important distinction. The fighting nerds do not know how to wrestle at all. Um, they know how to punch and they're very, very good at punching people and knocking them the fuck out. And they're very, very clinical, accurate. They're awesome, but they don't know how to wrestle. And Rennier Ritter might be the best grappler in the UFC right now. It's absolutely insane. He made Bo Nickel look not very good at wrestling, and Bo Nickel is probably the second best wrestler in the UFC. Um, that being said, I do have Rainier Day Ritter by decision, and or not by decision. Sorry, Rainier Day Ritter to win this fight straight up. Plus, where'd that go? I had it written down.
Plus
Plus
240.
two. Yes, I have plus 235 on DraftKings. That's what I have. That is my pick. Rainier Day Ritter stuns, beats Kyle Borralho, and gets back on track.
I didn't see that at all. I really struggled picking a line for Caio Bahaio, but I never once thought in my head this is going to be Rainier De Ritter's fight. He's messy. He's got a weird style that had worked, and he had some great wins. You said Bo Nickel, also Robert Whitaker. Impressive, impressive shit that he was able to pull off against Robert Whitaker, but he looks like a fucking idiot doing it, which is hard to like, it's hard to gauge how far you can take that. Obviously, we just saw DDP take that thing to a title. And Rainier de Ritters is a weird case because man, I was really hard on him when he came into the
We
UFC.
both were
Dude's 21-3. He's
a
only
dog.
he lost twice in one championship and then lost, of course, to Brendan Allen or Ammonia or Amenia. What is it?
Anemia.
He lost once to Anemia and twice in one championship. But I just see Kyle Bahio being that fucking guy. Of all the fighting nerds, you said they can't wrestle. Kyle Bahio is the guy that, of the group, is the greatest wrestler. That's kind of where he's shined. He's got, I think, 4 submissions on his record, 5 knockouts. He is a little bit of a decision merchant, which is where I kind of struggled to find my line here because uh, I everything in my heart was saying this is going to end by finish. Kyle Bahau is going to find a way to knock him out. But 80% of his fights in the UFC have ended in decision.
Hmm.
That's what I'm going to end up taking Kyle Bahio by decision. If it was a 5 round fight, I think I probably would have took him by KO. I think there's a chance he knocks him out just with the looping punches that Rainier Day Ritter throws. Kyle Bahaio's got serious power. You said the fighting nerds are good at knocking people out. Kyle Bahaio can crack. Slept Paul Craig, damn near slept Jared Cannonier. Kind of got saved by the bell at the end of that fight. He's a bad motherfucker. And it feels like the fighting nerds are in a little bit of a resurgence period right now. Of course, last year, the fall of the fighting nerds happened. Carlos Prates lost to Ian Gary. John Silva lost to Diego Lopez. Mauricio Rufy lost to BSD. Kyle Bahio lost to Nazardine. All those guys are back on track, except for Kyle Bahio. I feel like this is the last piece of the puzzle, and I think he gets it done here. I got him plus 110 by decision, but I wouldn't be shocked just with the way that Rainier Day Ritter operates if some wild shit went down. This is the old by falling piano type thing that we used to say about DDP. So it's a really interesting fight. And it also has some pretty fucking massive stakes for the middleweight division.
Huge.
I feel like these guys are still one fight away.
Close. They're both close.
I mean, we talk about who's ahead of them. Uh, I think it's a two-man race right now, and I don't know how it plays out. Sean Strickland and Nasruddin Imavov to fight next for the title. Sean Strickland, holy shit, by the way, got over Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. You know I fucking love Fluffy. I would have never called that in a fucking million years. But that's just the Sean Strickland way. He does what the fuck he does, and Fluffy had an off night. and he fucking paid for it. But that puts him in a position, especially with how fucking big his mouth is,
It
to get
is.
right back to a title shot. And Nasruddin, no offense to him, a solid fighter, but also Sean Strickland has a win over him.
He does.
And he's
We
not like the most exciting guy.
No, definitely not. We are forgetting a big name here in Kamaru Usman.
Wrong division. First
He
problem.
fights 185.
170
He went up to, oh, didn't he go out to 185?
to fight Khamzat one time.
Okay, so I'm not that stupid.
Yeah, not bad. The guys ahead of him right now are Brendan Allen, I think, is at 4. Sean Strickland,
Hmm.
Fluffy's up there. Fluffy just lost. Israel Adesanya is going to be fighting Joe Pyfer here in a couple weeks. I'd like to talk to you about that on the back end because we're not going to be there for that card, but fuck, that is
Hmm.
a crazy fucking fight. And then DDP. Like, I think the winner of this fight could easily get a DDP fight that walks him right into a title. And then, like who else? It's either Fluffy, whoever doesn't get the title fight between Nasruddin and Strickland, and DDP. Those are the only guys in front of him. So I think it's a pretty quick turnaround back. Maybe if not one fight, two fights. These guys are still right in contention. And I think Rainier Day Ritter, especially, I kind of just want to see him and Khamzat and just see how that fucking plays out, just because he's such a good grappler, especially off of his back. I'd love to fucking see that. Unfortunately, Kyle's going to turn him back.
I don't see it. But then again, I don't know what weight Kamaru Usman fights at. So what the fuck am I even talking about?
We are officially on opposite sides for the first two. Let's see if we can find it here. I can't imagine we can't because I'll tell you right off the bat, Raul Rojas Jr. and Rob Font is next up, and I picked right down the line. I picked pretty big favorites, or sorry, pretty big odds in the first two. I'm going minus 238 over 2.5 rounds here. This is a hard fight to call. First of all, the age difference. Rafa's 38 years old. Raul Rosas Jr. is 21 years old. There's a
Hmm.
17-year age gap here. And just by the numbers, age gaps over 15 years, 70% of the time, the younger guy wins. That being said, Rob Font has made an absolute career on turning back prospects. Over the last probably 3, 4 years, he's been a professional at that with the likes of Kyler Phillips, with the likes of John Masimoto. Like this guy, it seems like there's always a y'all must have forgot moment when he's got a prospect in front of him. And Rojas is pretty green. I mean, we're talking about a 21-year-old kid who's 21,
Hmm.
and came in as a sort of specialist. How do you see this one playing out with the young buck? And where'd you pick this line?
First and foremost, I couldn't have broken it down any better myself. We've said y'all must have forgot about Bob Font. I don't even know how many times on this show. It feels like infinity. Great breakdown by you. A crazy take by me. I cannot fucking stand Raul Rosas Jr. This chiwi shit, I fucking hate it. It's so annoying. I'm not a Raul Rosas Jr. fan. That being said, he is 21 years old, and Bob Font is 30 fucking 8. That's a huge age gap, and in all likelihood, Raul Rosa should win this fight, but not tonight. Not Saturday night. It is far too big of a step up for Raul Rosa Jr. He has fought absolutely fucking no one. He has no gas tank. He can't box. Yeah, the kid's got a bright future or whatever, but he's going to learn how to fight before he can beat people like Rob Font, even if he is 38 years old. Give me Bob Font by decision.
And I definitely felt that. That's kind of why I picked the middle here because I part of me wanted to pick Rob Font, but then I just thought, man, is the streak over? The last time we saw him fight a prospect, he did lose to David Martinez. He's getting
David
up there
Martinez
in
is a
age.
dog, though.
Eh, I know, just beat Cheeto Vera. I'm not super high on David Martinez as is. I think he's a tough stylistic challenge, and you're right. Raul Rojas has a lot to learn. His boxing is definitely not to the level that Bob Fonts is for sure. But also like a 17-year fucking age gap.
Yeah.
Something's got to give at some point for Rob Font, and I feel like today might be the day. lucky for me, I'm just picking the over 2.5. Do you feel like it goes over? Do you think this makes the bell, or you think Raul gets stopped somewhere along the line?
Oh, I have Bob by decision. I think Raul gasses out mid round two, loses round three.
I could see that for sure. He's definitely a fast starter. I think if you get out of the first round with him, the danger goes away a lot. Freaking what a fight though. See,
Yeah.
this
Sorry, I
fight was
interrupted you.
no. This fight was supposed to happen at UFC Noche back in September. It's being remade now. Raul Rosas is on a 4-fight win streak. Not to the level of Rob Font, but just saying he is streaking a little bit right now, but just feels like there's so much time to improve. When you look back, I mean, at the top of this card here, we got Max Holloway, we got Charles Oliveira. Those are two guys that came into the UFC at like 20, 21 years old.
hmm
Chase Hooper, another one of those guys, came in at like 20, 20 years old. They tend to run into these vets and lose along the line. Like you look at the early career of these guys, that's where a lot of their losses came from. The later half, they were just started to dominate.
hmm
Who knows if Raul Rosas will ever turn out like the legends we're talking about up top, but Bob Font, y'all must have forgot again. It's the way that you're feeling. I would not be shocked, not one bit.
Yeah, it's too much too soon. 2 fights ago, Raul Rosa fought somebody on ESPN that has one name. It's a bunch of letters, and the man is from China. I'm sure he's great.
Sumer
I've never
Darji?
fucking heard
He
of him.
fights Sumer Darji? Is that who it is?
It starts with an A. I
Okay.
have
Could be
no
anybody.
idea. Yeah, he's a Chinese man. I don't fucking know who he is. I don't know. I know who Morales is, but I don't know anybody else who the fuck this man's fought.
Christian Rodriguez lost. Get fucked.
That's true. I do know who Christian Rodriguez is. Oh,
The next fight on the card, Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. I got a question for you off the top.
of course.
How old do you think Drew Dober is?
37.
Damn,
How old is he?
37.
Oh, let's go. Ripped that.
It shocked
Ripped
me when I
that.
saw that. I'm surprised that you guessed that old because I would have guessed probably 32, 33 years old. When I saw that he was 37, this changed the dynamic of the fight for me a little bit because I was looking at Michael Johnson as an old man. I was going, Michael Johnson is 39 years old. Drew Dober still got more tread on the tires. I know Michael Johnson has been streaking. Then I saw that Drew Dober was 37 years old. I cannot even fucking fathom that.
Yeah, they're both fucking old as shit, dude.
An old man
Ancient.
fight.
Just two guys, two old fucks. Back then, they remember when gas was a gallon or $1 a gallon, just out there chucking knucks.
There is a little MMA meme about Drew Dober. Have you heard this meme? Do you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, he fucking beats the fuck out of black guys. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And right now we got Terrence McKinney, we have Bobby Green, and we got Michael Johnson in front of him today. Is that how you see this one playing out? Is it another Drew Dober massacre, a borderline hate crime, or is Michael Johnson gonna figure something out here?
Um, First and foremost, I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna be like, "Yo, did you know Drew Dober hates black people?" And that was just a much wetter. I just had a fucking stroke. Much better way you brought that up. I'm riding with Michael Johnson and Rosa Parks on this one. I think we finally get our social justice here. Mainly just because Michael Johnson's streaking and he takes significantly less damage in his fights. Drew Dober just throws his chin at a brick wall over and over and over again. He can't do that for forever. I mean, if this fight goes late, it does favor Drew Dober, in my opinion. I got Michael Johnson here. I'm gonna take him straight up. But if this fight does see the third round, I'm gonna be scared.
And he's streaking right now. You said it. Michael Johnson is streaking right now. Put four in a row together. Last win was over Daniel Selhuber, which
A dog.
hasn't aged great. Bobby Green just knocked him out too. But at the time, like that was a pretty fucking massive win. He was definitely supposed to lose that fight, as was Bobby Green in Mexico was supposed to lose to Daniel Zellhuber. Both those men beat the fucking brakes off the kid. So still some tread on the tires for Michael Johnson. You got a guy in Drew Dober, like you said, big chin and not scared to use it. I am going to take Drew Dober plus 102 right here. I thought the money line was a good number for him. Not a lot to risk. I feel like somebody's getting KO'd here. That's just kind of the way that Drew Dober fights in particular.
Hmm.
And I like his odds. I'm gonna stick with I don't know who it would be. You said Rosa Parks with Michael Johnson. I don't know if I want to bring up anybody on the side of Drew Dober, but
Donald Trump,
oh, dude, come on, dude. Out of respect for the press. But it could be anybody. Um,
Bradley Gleason hates black people. You heard it here first.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad you did. Here we go. No, I gotta cut all this shit, dog. You really set me up like a motherfucker there. I'm gonna start naming my black friends here in a second. Uh, but
We
yeah,
went to an all-white school, but go off, kid.
hey, we had a couple. I've dapped up Romine a couple times. Come on.
Let's move on, move on,
Come
move
on,
on.
you spun this out of fucking control, and here we go. Next, Jesus, guy, why you got to do that to me? We're almost done. The next fight on the card, Gregory Robo Cop Rodriguez and Bruno Ferreira, two Brazilians, nothing to get caught up in here. Uh, but also two big hitters, two freaking big swinging
Bitch.
guys. I almost said that. The big difference here is like Gregory Rodriguez is fucking massive, 6'3" to 5'10". I feel like that could be a problem for Bruno Ferreira. I didn't like any of the lines that involved either of these guys. I did go down the middle. I just took it by KO minus 175. I feel like that's kind of a safe bet. Gregory Rodriguez has 11 knockouts. Bruno Ferreira has nine. I think these guys are going to swing some leather. Eventually, one's going to find a chin, and somebody's getting put to sleep. Do you see this going any differently than that?
Yeah, quick bit of surprise here. You didn't bring up how Greg got knocked out in their first ever match. These two fought before, and Greg RoboCop got knocked out.
I did not catch that. That's a freaking great little tidbit by you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That being said, that was a long fucking time ago, several years ago. I see it a similar way that you do. I think somebody's probably going to sleep here. Um, However, I'm not sure just swinging wildly benefits RoboCop here. I think taking things kind of slow, being a little bit methodical about it, and using his newfound gas tank that he's shown a little bit of and not gas like as bad as he used to. I think that'd be very, very beneficial. I do have the oh, excuse me here. Let me just rip that real quick. I do have Greg here. Just money line. Give me Greg.
Nice. So you see this going differently in the first one. Do you know when they fought the first time? Do you have that on you?
I had it written down and I exited my notes.
In the UFC or no?
Um, yes. January 1st, 2023, UFC 283, Teixeira versus Hill.
Nice. Um, Jamal Hill won the belt in Brazil. That fight went down. Gosh dang. That's when I thought Jamal Hill was the goat of all goats.
Yeah, dude. He looked
God, was
really
I.
good that one night. He looked really good that one night.
And then I think he tore his ACL after that playing basketball and never came back. God damn it, Jamal.
R.I.P. Compa never forgotten.
Let's go down to the prelims real quick. Is there anything that you saw on here? We got Cody Garbrandt fighting. I mean, this card, I feel like I said it off the top. I think maybe I didn't say it off the top. I might have said it to you pregame, but I thought the card kind of falls off after the first two fights, to be honest with you. I mean, G-Rod, all due respect, and Bruno Ferreira should be a banger, but like there's zero stakes to that. I think the rest of the card is kind of the same way. Cody Garbrandt, Cody Brundage, Ricky Trucio. Anything you saw in here that you liked? I didn't pick him.
I will bet against Cody Garbrandt for the rest of his UFC career.
That's fair.
Just because he's not very good anymore.
He also did the eye tattoo, which I thought was pretty interesting. He's got like
Yeah.
the sword going through the middle of his eye. I thought that was an odd choice.
Yeah. He also has a pot leaf tattooed on him. And it's like, we get it, bro. You like to smoke weed.
That's kind of sick, though, actually, if you think about it, if you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, for sure.
You, for the rest of your life, can go like this at any time.
And
Yeah.
just be like, do you even burn?
Do you even burn, bro?
Oh, shit.
Well,
No.
nothing on that.
Mm-mm.
Sweet.
Nothing else.
That's fair. Completely fair. Uh, well, let's talk about some other big news, and let's get the fuck out of here. Alex Pereira vacated his belt. Did you catch that one?
I did catch that one. I did.
He's officially assuming, unless he retired, and I didn't catch that, he is officially moving up to heavyweight. Uh, John Jones at the White House, is that the vibe that you're catching off of this thing? Or are you thinking he fights Cyril Gahn? What's the vibe you're catching?
I think the fight to make has to be John Jones. I know John Jones did just get surgery, so I don't know what his recovery process is. I know he said he'd be back in time. The weight cut obviously isn't going to be an issue for him. It's not like John Jones was training a ton for any of his fights ever in his career.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't, if he can fight, I don't see why that fight wouldn't get made. Take my money, even though I won't have to pay for it because my parents have Paramount.
And isn't that beautiful? How do you think Alex Pereira, just in general, fares it? Like, I don't think it's going to be a long stint. Alex Pereira, we talk about people getting old. Alex Pereira is 38, 39 himself. I think he probably only has two, three fights left max. Maybe not. Maybe he just, this guy's a fucking monster. Walked into the UFC, this guy fought at 185 at one point.
Just fucking crazy.
Now he's going for a third belt at 285 pounds, or sorry, 280 pounds, 100-pound difference. Not that he's going to weigh that, but how do you feel like he fares in the heavyweight division just in general?
I assume that he will fare well. I mean, he has the frame for it. He's a fucking gigantic human being. As long as he's not like hanging out with the tribe and can like eat the food to like gain weight and muscle mass and things like that, I don't
He's
see
probably
why
already like
he.
240.
Yeah, wasn't there a video of him like he weighed in at 185 and then like a day later he was 220?
Yeah, he's a psycho. I can't even believe he ever made 185. It's like one of the most impressive things that have ever happened.
He made it a bunch of times too,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy. Dude, I mean, I imagine he tips the scale at like 250, maybe 240, 250. And I mean, John Jones, if they do fight, is gonna weigh 260-ish. So, I mean, the size is gonna be close to even. Now, when you talk about, other people in the heavyweight division, it's a little bit different. Tom Aspinall is a little bit bigger
Yeah, that's when it
than.
starts to get a little scary for me.
Mhm. But I mean, dude, so many people at light heavyweight are huge ass fucking dudes,
Hmm.
and he's fought them all, man. And I mean, he trains with another big ass dude, who was a heavyweight at one point. I mean, I don't see
Yeah.
why. He's got the hands too. A
That's
huge thing is
yeah.
so many people go up in weight and they lose their power. Devison Figueiredo doesn't have nearly the pop he had at Fly.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
feel like
yeah.
Alex Burr can knock out anybody at any time. And in the heavyweight division, that's all pretty for 99% of the people that you fight, that's all you got to bank on. Outside of really Tom Aspinall and maybe Curtis Blades, nobody's wrestling. Cyril Gahn's not wrestling. Volkov's not really wrestling. Um, it's Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. Those are the two guys that are kind of maybe Walter Walker. But I feel like that fight, those are fights that are probably never going to get made. I
Way
feel
too cold
like
by
I
you.
feel like we go John Jones, we go Tom Aspinall, we collect a third belt. Maybe the belt with John. I'm interested to see if they end up stripping Tom Aspinall, which would suck dick, especially if John Jones comes back and fights for that belt. Just feels like he's getting fucked hard because he waited so long for that John Jones fight. They ended up stripping John. Tom collected it and then gets his eyeballs poked out, and now he's going to lose it. And potentially John Jones is just going to recollect it. And I don't think Tom ends up fighting John now either. I think John is one and done at the White House if that's what plays out. So interesting to see how this thing fucking plays out. But
Yeah. If they take the belt away from Tom, I mean that would be. It's like he just got eye surgery. What, like last month?
Yeah, but the problem is like it was one of who knows how many. Like obviously I don't know the situation as well as Tom does, but it said there's potential like the first it's basically one of could be seven eye surgeries.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking optometrist. I have no fucking idea how any of that shit works. But like,
Optometrist was a good poll though. That was a good poll.
shout out optometry.
Eye doctor out of nowhere, brother. That was fantastic. Do you watch RAF? I feel like that's right up your alley. Real American Freestyle. You know what I'm
I do
talking
not.
about?
No, I don't know.
It's like a wrestling show that's becoming popular. I'm sure you saw
Oh
Ruki
yeah.
punch a dude in the face last week.
Yeah, I like watch clips and stuff like that. Anything that like Flow covers it sometimes too, Flow Wrestling or Flow Sports.
Yeah.
Anything that I see from that. Um, Fucking Arman Sarukian is a piece of shit scumbag.
Well, the guy that he was fighting was also punching him in the face quite a bit, so I don't blame him for getting pissed off. But that dude's got a serious issue where he has no control over. I partially get why he punched him, but this is like the fourth offense, and he's like, "Do you want a title shot?"
Literally, it's he has the world is right in front of him, and he wants to fight Patty and he wants the belt. It's like both of those things. You can have either of them, or you can have both of them potentially, and you just keep fucking up.
Yeah, I thought you would be all into RAF though. That seems right up your
Ah,
alley.
dude, this is gonna sound like an old man yelling at clouds. Like when it comes to like actual real wrestling, like I love watching like college, world stuff, team trials, Olympics. I'm all for RAF. I'm all for growing the brand and wrestlers making more money and stuff like that. Dude, as soon as it like starts being like showy, I don't
Yeah, it's
know. Like
very kind
I'm
of
kind of out.
it's pretty influencer heavy right now, and it's a lot of I think it's just part of the building process a little bit where um you kind of need the names. Like the last card was headlined by Henry Cejudo and Uriah Faber, Arman Sarukian being the co-main event. Like it's very much they're using name value from the UFC to kind of build it. And me, a casual wrestling fan, I don't know anybody. So if it didn't have that, there's a 0% chance I would have ever even heard of it
Hmm.
if it was
Yeah.
just wrestlers. But I know there
Uh,
is down the line.
our best guys outside of Derek Carr very, very rarely compete. Like Zahid Valencia, world
Derek
champ.
Carr.
Derek
Saint,
Carr,
the former Raiders and Saints quarterback, Derek Carr. Damn, I didn't know you wrestled.
his name's actually the guy's David Carr. His dad's name's Derek Carr. David
David
Carr.
Carr, Derek
Yes.
Carr's older brother, quarterback for the Houston Texans at one point.
Yeah,
David
exactly.
Carr.
Same guy, except this guy's black. So yeah. But yeah, it's just not for me, you know. I mean, dude, if like the US's best guys start towing the line, like a Spencer Lee, I mean, I'm not gonna go through the fucking World Olympic lineups. If those guys start towing the line, I'm all in. But until then,
I
I'm messing
just
with
like
that
the
shit.
idea of being able to match up guys in the UFC that you wouldn't like for whatever reason they look at grappling matches and like RAF as like like UFC guys would never be able to fight in the PFL, but they can
No,
fight in RAF or like grappling matches at Karate Combat. So I'd love to just randomly get like Bo Nickel, Khamzat Chimaev and
that'd
RAF.
be fucking crazy
Insane,
too.
just pure wrestling. That would be fucking
Uh, Islam's called out like every awesome wrestler.
really.
Yeah, I mean, Islam is desperate to wrestle Jordan Burroughs, which would be an
Oh, that'd be
absolute
sweet.
fucking slaughter. But I mean, sign me up.
By Jordan
Yeah.
Burrow?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's just the best U.S. wrestler, maybe the best wrestler to ever do it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to talk shit about Islam Makhachev. I mean, his wrestling, I don't need to sing that praises, but it's just like, it's like,
Talking about the GOAT.
yeah, you're talking about the go. It's like, hey, Tom Brady is the best dude to ever fucking throw a football. You know what I'm saying?
Last topic I have for you, Izzy. I actually was supposed to bring it up earlier, just really derailed it to RAF. Then I'm going to bring it back to the UFC. Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. We're not going to talk about this, but this is a fucking massive fight. Going down in Seattle in a couple weeks here. Big step up for Joe Pyfer, but we've seen Izzy kind of on the decline. Just got knocked out last time out by Nasruddin Imavov. Like, do you think we're sending Izzy out to slaughter? You think he can kind of piece up JP?
Um, I don't think that Izzy has like Mike's special stuff from Looney Tunes, that movie. Like I
Yeah.
just don't think, yeah, I just don't think Izzy has that special stuff anymore. He's probably not gonna go out to slaughter. Izzy's a phenomenal defensive fighter, and I think he knows he doesn't have it. And God, I hope I'm fucking wrong, and I hope Izzy just beats the absolute piss out of Joe Pyfer. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a good night for Joe Pyfe, and dude, it fucking sucks, man. Israel Adesanya changed the game. The last style bender, the last person we'll ever see fight like Israel Adesanya ever again. I just don't think he has it anymore, man.
I am in
I have goosebumps. I'm tearing up. I'm so sad.
yeah, I'm in a similar boat too where I like you hope it doesn't happen, especially with a guy like Joe Pyfer that's got like concussive power punching ability. Like could really put a motherfucker to sleep and has before. You hope it doesn't happen because Israel Adesanya is just one of those freaking legends that you love. But it is also like the tail end of the career, and we've seen it's like a tale as old as time. You know, you saw Anderson Silva get worked on the way out the door. Tony Ferguson worked on the way out the door. Uh, who knows what's going to happen here? But I hope it. I'm rooting for a decision.
I hope Israel Adesanya's spinning wheel kick knocks him out in the first round, and it's just
I like Joe
awesome.
P.
I like Joe P too, but I don't like him as much as I like Israel Adesanya. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Like,
be riding for Izzy. It's hard not to. But
hmm.
as always, a fucking pleasure, dog. That's read between the lines. We're gonna be back at you for UFC 327 in Miami, and that card is freaking stacked, top to bottom. I told you about this earlier in the week. Top to freaking bottom, that card is stacked. Yuri Prohaska, Carlos Ober going to be fighting for Alex Pereira's vacant belt. Josh Van versus Tatsura Tara. No spoilers, but I feel like we're going to be on the opposite side of that. And I can't wait to see you for then.
I can't wait. Thank you for having me on as always. An absolute pleasure. Peace.
Peace, brother.